Everyone, welcome to Biological and Biomedical Engineering Program of School of Engineering. First of all, a big congratulations to everyone. It's not easy to get admission into the School of Engineering here, especially Biological and Biomedical Engineering Program is one of the top-notch programs in the country here. Welcome. We'll briefly talk about the scope, the nature of these two programs, and walk you through what are the different, please take a seat, walk you through the different people whom you will be interacting with on a daily basis, introduce you to those folks, and also talk about some of the courses and some of the learning experiences you will gain in the next 4 to 5 years. So the school was started in 1970, the Department of Biological Engineering. So it's one of the, I would say, #1 in the whole continent of North America. So we were the mother of all engineering programs in the School of Engineering, and also the source of the biological engineering program. Sometimes it's called bioengineering, or in other universities it's called biosystems engineering or bioresource engineering. The name may be a little bit different, but the core of the curriculum is more or less the same. So we are a leader in providing the curriculum, in providing the best educational experience in the area of biological engineering. Biomedical engineering was started a little later, just a few years ago, in September 2010. Again, we were the leader here in the province of Ontario. We were the first to start a bachelor's degree in biomedical engineering in the province of Ontario. So it is a fully accredited program. We are going through the second cycle of accreditation, which means it has been recognized and approved, and we have surpassed all the requirements of the standards expected by the national and global levels. Can one of you tell me what is this? What is the symbol? Louder, please. DNA, yeah. So it's an icon or a logo of biological engineering. Similarly, we have another logo or a symbol or icon for biomedical engineering. How many of you here are in biological engineering? Fantastic. Biomedical engineering? Ooh, not surprised. Undecided. Okay. Good. So I hope I will be able to convince you by the end of today's presentation, or at least by the end of this week, you will make up a choice to take up a program, a biomedical or biological engineering program. I also welcome, we have a mechanical engineering first year candidate here. So I would also consider and urge him to switch to biological or biomedical engineering program. So what is all about? What is bio? Bio means, the word bio means life. So when you combine life sciences and engineering principles, it is biological engineering, bioengineering. It is truly interdisciplinary. So when a graduate move out after 4.5, 5 years from this program, the candidate is either a queen of all trades or a king of all trades. So for example, a mechanical engineering graduate who goes out into the work sector, industrial sector, or civil engineering or electrical engineering, whatever the type of work they do, they can easily have conversations. So the biological engineering, we have different flavors, different types of natures of courses you will experience and go through, so you can easily resonate and connect with all types of engineers. You will have a better understanding of the core discipline of individual specific disciplines. So the ideal goal, the ultimate goal is to improve the life, whatever it is, whatever type of engineering we do, the goal is to improve the quality of life. But bio takes the lead. It touches the body, it touches the food we eat, it touches the product, bio product that's been developed. So day-to-day solutions in terms of life is being brought from the biological engineering domain or the bioengineering arena. So some examples: I want to develop a biosensor for rapidly detecting diseases, for food safety related applications, food. So food processing, food related chemistry, what kind of technique or unit operations one has to follow when we process the food. So wheat or corn or any food that's grown in the field from a raw material that goes to the grocery store, from the farm to the fork at your dinner table, all the different unit operations, the different type of activities and processes the food goes through. You will be learning the variety of engineering principles and background in making better quality of food through some of your courses here. Assistive devices as part of the biomechanical stream, and also courses you will learn new techniques and ideas and concepts of developing, for example, a heart implant, a carpal tunnel syndrome enhancing a tool, orthopedic screw. How do we go about design them? How do we fit them inside a human body so that it can be biocompatible without ejecting it and be in synchronization, in synergy with the human system? You know, these kind of techniques and engineering principles you will learn over the period of next few years. Manufacturing systems and biomaterials, etc. So the first 2 years, I would say at least for first year, almost every one of you will be taking more or less similar courses. Lots of mathematics, lots of design one, everyone, all programs, irrespective of mechanical or ESNC or computer, everyone will get together and take similar courses. The biological engineering program has a little touch, a gentle flavor of biosciences imbibed into the program. So there is a flexibility to offer, to explore variety of applications here, as I mentioned, food safety, bioinstrumentation, pharmaceutical related area, biomaterials, food processing, and so on. Very quickly, some of the engineering core courses you will be taking are bioinstrumentation design, which is a 4th year level course I teach. So you will hear that word quite often from me: bioinstrumentation design, biological systems 1 and 2, which is in the year 2 and year 3 of the program in the biological engineering, biomaterials, biomechanics, heat transfer and fluid mechanics. Both biomedical and biological engineering will be taking these courses. These are core courses for almost all programs within the School of Engineering. Design is a common thread. It's a unique flavor we follow here. I would say it's the crown, it's a jewel in the crown of School of Engineering. Design stream. None of the schools here in Canada give emphasis on design. So you get lots of hands-on oriented design projects. You get to experience, you get to develop prototypes, products over the period of 4-5 years in various courses. We will make sure that you are able to work with difficult people in a team, people who also people with your friends. We ensure that the team development and team working skills is always there, so that you get prepared to work in a real environment as you graduate and move out. Another beautiful thing of biological engineering, which none other program here in the School of Engineering has, is you can take 2 minors, minor in food engineering, minor in environmental engineering. So food engineering, we are in, I would say, the food capital of Canada, southwestern Ontario, mainly because of the geographic location. If you take Guelph as a center point and you draw a 100-kilometer circle, you will see almost 800 small and medium scale and large scale food processing and food manufacturing industries. So if you take up the challenge of doing a minor in food engineering along with a major in biological engineering, jobs are almost guaranteed You will be welcomed wherever you go. We have excellent alumni working in top-notch brewery and other food processing, multi-billion-dollar industries in this domain. So these are some of the courses you will take. For example, bioreactor design. You will know how to make beer, how to make different grades of wine. And you, of course, you will taste it perhaps during the last year, 4th year, when you take up that course. You will be taken to field visits. Sleeman Brewery is one of the favorite for many of the students. Pay $10 and get unlimited sampling as part of the course. Food packaging, meat and poultry processing, quality management, other courses in the minor in food engineering. Another minor is environmental engineering. You take additional few courses with environmental flavor, major in biological engineering and minor in environmental engineering. No other program in School of Engineering provides this flexibility to explore a variety of disciplines, variety of technical skill development opportunities within the program here. Keep in mind, it's only just 2 terms perhaps, 1 or 2 more terms additional, because you have to take up, in addition to the biological engineering courses, you take few more courses, but it's really worth it. Sometimes if you put up extra hours, instead of taking 4 courses, if you take 5 courses, you may still be able to get both the major and minor within 5 years. So it's very much possible. People have done that before. So I would recommend you to consider minor in food engineering if your interests are in the domain of food processing, food safety, food manufacturing area. What is this logo symbol here? Yes, but what does this mean? Heart monitor, signal response output. Fantastic. So what is biomedical engineering? Obviously human health related engineering. So people who want to end up becoming a doctor, a medical doctor, physician, this is one of the favorite programs. I would say an ideal way to become a doctor, because the flavor, you actually learn some of the basic courses that you will eventually learn in your medical school here as part of the curriculum of the biomedical engineering. It combines applied sciences, electronics, mechanical devices, and applies to life sciences. We have different flavors like optics, spectroscopy, medical imaging, biosignals, and so on and so forth. So engineering that deals with health and medicine combines experience and expertise, discovers solutions to medical problems, work in the medical industry, or prepare yourself for clinical medicine. So another key point here is we have a beautiful, highly state-of-the-art laboratories here within the School of Engineering, and also because of a close partnership with the Ontario Veterinary College, you actually get to see things. You can see cadaver, you can see cadavers of animals, not only humans, so you can actually do experiments dealing with. As part of the biomechanics course, Dr. Karen Gordon will be talking a little more. That's the expertise of dealing with different aspects of biomechanics as one of the elements of the biomedical engineering program. Again, the core courses very similar to biological engineering, but only in the first year. But as you move to the second year, you slightly take a divergent route. You will tend to take anatomy. You will tend to take a course related to physiology to better understand the human aspects of the body. Some common courses again are fluid mechanics, thermodynamics, heat and mass transfer, etc. So I would say we could divide the program of biomedical engineering into 3 streams, as you can see here. One is the biomechanics aspect, so advanced mechanics, biomechanics of injury and biomechanical design, bioinstrumentation. Dr. Collier and myself are in that particular research domain, sensors and transducers, sensor interface design, biosignals, signal processing, medical imaging, how a CT works, what is the role of MRI, how to do ultrasound. We have some actually equipments in our labs which you can play with to actually take some phantom samples and data out of it as part of the course when you take up the courses. So what is exactly common between biological and biomedical? You can see here there are when you put this Venn diagram, you can see that there are some core engineering courses, hidden mass, fluid mechanics, thermodynamics, first year math, and design courses, design 1, 2, 3, and 4, as you move from year 1 to year 4. These are some commonality between the biological and biomedical engineering. It's like brother and sister. You have to integrate and go together as part of the curriculum. But biological is a bit more emphasis on food processing, food safety, bioprocessing, while biomedical is very much a higher emphasis on obviously the human elements of human health and focus on human and medicine. So where do these people go? What are the opportunities after you guys graduate? I would say numerous, plenty. There are thousands of opportunities. Our alumni are well placed because biological engineering was started in 1970. We have established track record, demonstrated accomplished personnel in high profile jobs in variety of industries, GE, just to name some, Maple Leaf Foods, and so on and so forth. In biomedical, I would say a handful of people have graduated and are currently in the medical school. Some are in University of Western Ontario doing their medicine, some are in University of Toronto. But not only that, there are a number of medical related companies. For example, Bayless Medical Company is there. So how do we manufacture and make these implants, heart implants and other devices that goes inside the system? Intelligent surgical tool, a variety of biomedical related industries, and also pharmaceutical industries. How do we make pills? How the pills basically get dissolved in the system and react to specific pathological mechanisms. So there are a variety of job opportunities for both biological and biomedical engineering. I would say I had a chat with one of the co-op coordinator. Again, how many of you here in regular stream? Okay, just a few. Co-op stream. Majority of your co-op stream. Fantastic. So people who are in regular stream, you can still work during your summer in research labs here in the university or in industries. But as part of the co-op program, it's 100% job placement for biomedical engineering. So it's almost guaranteed. So you will get to experience a variety of working environment as part of the program. So you will be really enriched, have a strong enriched learning experience as part of the co-op program as well. So a few examples, a bunch of the students, alumni, they do go to grad school because they want to become another kind of doctor, masters and PhD and so on. Some they work in ergonomics related industries, workplace and clinical applications. How do we enhance the work environment by devising and designing new equipments and instruments? Some end up working for example, Canadian Food Inspection Agency, Public Health Agency of Canada, Health Canada, and other government and regulatory bodies. And of course, the food and pharmaceutical manufacturing industries. Dr. Singh is not here. Very briefly, Dr. Singh joined just 2 years ago. His area of research is in bioprocessing. You will be meeting him during the 3rd year. He is teaching 2 courses. It's called Biosystems 2 and Heat and Mass Transfer. His research is in the area of molecular dynamics of food components, development of new food products. How do we convert waste material? For example, you have carrot industry that makes carrot juice. Whatever that comes out of the waste, can we be able to find utilization of the waste using bioprocess technologies to find new value to those? So these are the type of research he does.
Perfect. Well, like you, this is my first day in this lecture hall. I joined in July, so I'm excited to be here and to learn and grow with you over the next few years. I will be teaching biomaterials this year, so that's a third year course. When you get there, talk about how do we choose materials that work well with the body, as we heard earlier, and make sure that they're not rejected, and how we make sure they don't break down too early. And secondly, biomechanical engineering design, not design. And that refers to how do we design devices that work with the body both internally and externally. And I'm particularly interested in those. As biomedical engineers, I think you can use your skills to understand how devices and people interact more so than a mechanical engineering friend. He might be able to design that mechanism very strongly and make sure that it lasts, but it's up to biomedical engineers to figure out how to make it work with the body. In my research, there's a few themes. First is human movement analysis. Have you guys ever watched the special features of Lord of the Rings? I know it's an old movie, but for me that was a big one. You see the dots they put all over the person, cameras all over the room, they track the motion in 3D. That's what we do to understand how people move and how they move differently when they're injured. Secondly, I'm interested in muscle and joint mechanics. So how do your muscles actually generate that movement? What changes with your muscles when you're injured or you're aging? And how do your joints break down because we put too much force on them? Because of that, then I'm interested in assistive device design. So can we design knee braces or exoskeletons, which are really cool, to help you move better when you have an injury? And lastly, I'm interested in surgical simulation. We worked with some doctors to try to simulate their surgery in the computer and then see how people are going to perform after that surgery is done. Oh, spacebar? All right, perfect. Here's a picture of how that works. So motion capture is the top left there. We take a person, you don't have to have your clothes off, this guy did. And there's little white dots, you can kind of see one on his hip, and we track those. Then we run through a computer simulation, which we're not good at animation, maybe some of you are, and that'd be awesome. But we have the muscles, the red muscles are the ones that are firing, the blue muscles are the ones that are off, so we can measure and predict what's going on, and then predict the tissue loads. On the right side is a picture of a knee brace and an exoskeleton that I've worked with in the past. So trying to analyze how those devices change the way we walk, which is really exciting. And lastly, there's the bottom, the surgery. So this was a surgery where you can see that really bright white thing on the right side of that. That's a piece of metal that was implanted. And you may not know, but that's the same bone before and after. And they actually cut the bone off, change the orientation, and screw it back together to try and help this kid walk better. So that's the type of thing that I'm interested in with my research. And that's pretty much all I have to say today. Thank you.
Thank you. Hi, good morning. I cannot point like this one, like not all, like not I have stand here. My name is Manik. I'm in the biological engineering stream. I teach bioreactor design and engineering and design 3rd-year course. My research interests are food processing and product development for health and wellness. Recently, the non-communicable diseases are increasing at an alarming rate, not only in Canada, all over the world. So all the health authorities are trying to control the diseases. So I'm trying to investigate how can we do that through food, healthy food. So one of my research interests is in providing healthy substitute for white sugar. So anybody knows the problem with the consumption of added sugar or white sugar? Is it good or we have to minimize it? Any idea? No? So you are too young, so you are not interested in knowing the healthy food, but it's a very, very alarming issue. Last year there was one modeling research. They predicted if you consume white sugar more than the recommendation, that's 10% of the total calorie intake, the impact will be equivalent to smoking. So it's a serious issue. So I'm trying to develop a kind of alternative natural healthy product. There are so many artificial sweeteners are coming up and becoming very popular. So I'm trying to develop healthy sweeteners through fruit powder. My another area of work is whole grain product development and sprouted grains. So it is becoming very, very popular. The sprouted grains are going to be the best way to promote whole grain consumption. So I'm trying to work on optimizing the sprouted grain product development. And another stream is computer vision technology for food safety and food quality. So just some of the examples. We use dates as a, developing a free flow powder to substitute white sugar. And I also use lots of imaging methods to automate food industry process to identify the affected commodities to automatically remove from the food supply chain. Thank you.
Hello everyone. So my name is Mario Martinez. Well, the surname is two times because in Spain we preserve the two of them, and my parents have the same one. They were brothers, otherwise I wouldn't be here probably. So I am a professor of bioprocess engineering and food and beverage engineering. So bioprocess engineering is basically about food engineering unit operations, which are the basic and the main operations that are necessary for a lot of food processes in the industry. And then food and beverage engineering, we will focus then on different foods and different ingredients. Then my research is, I've been covering or I'm interested in several topics. And the first one, I would say is the last one that I was working last year, is to study what are the biophysical features of cereal alphas endosperm that control or modulate the digestion rate of glycemic carbohydrates. So as Manny was saying before, the consumption of sugar or the consumption of other polysaccharides, such as the starch, is a problem because they are digested very, very fast in the proximal part of the small intestine, and then it is related, in the medical community, is related with a high risk of suffering from obesity, type 2 diabetes, and cardiovascular disease. So we have to put somehow physical barriers to try to diminish or decrease the rate of digestion of those glycemic carbohydrates. So in this study, what I was observing is that we can control some biophysical features present in the plant materials that will delay or will impede the diffusion of the digestive enzymes to the core of the particles of the food. And also, I've been doing research in controlling the food textural properties influenced by the starch fine structure. So, for example, breath staining and these kind of things, everything is related to how the molecules reassociate with time. Because the molecules usually are in a stable state, and they will tend to reassociate to form gels, and then the breath becomes very hard, and they will not like it. So what I'm trying to do, I'm trying to control the chemical structure of those polysaccharides to control how they aggregate and how to optimize the texture of some foods. Then I've been also doing a lot of research with extrusion and other hydrothermal processes of edible plants. So extrusion, do any of you know what extrusion is? So usually we are modifying the semicrystalline structure and the molecular structure, applying just pressure, water, so applying just and temperature. So it is all the ingredients that come from that can be considered as clean label, and we can create ingredients with a certain functionality and certain health properties with that process. Also, lately I've been doing a lot of research in manipulating the starch digestion rate, and in this case, controlling the chemical structure. So I am actually now I am analyzing the deepest level the chemical structure of this starch. I don't know if you know what the starch is. So starch is the most common polysaccharide found in nature, and also is the biggest one and the most complex one. It's very big, it's branched, so then it will tend to. So then some of its digestibility and its digestion rate sometimes is controlled by its chemical structure. And then also I've been doing research in trying to find fruit and vegetables byproducts that can be utilized as nutritional improvers. So then my research is, as an example, I am trying to find novel carbohydrates or to engineer novel carbohydrates-based foods providing sustained energy. Sustained energy is necessary so that we are not like that when it is 11 in the morning, because then you feel tired. So if apart from decreasing the risk of suffering from type 2 diabetes, cardiovascular disease, and obesity, if you are able to get a sustained glucose in your bloodstream, then you will be able to get sustained energy, and this is the sort of thing. So we've been trying to find some ingredients or some polysaccharides, and we've been doing some work with bananas, and then we were designing, or we were obtaining some ingredients. You can see there. So we were playing with certain processes, and we were obtaining banana-based ingredients that were utilized, and we used those ingredients and we put it in cakes, for example. And then we got cakes and breads. And we got pretty good sensory acceptability using those ingredients, but in that case we increased the amount of fiber in those cakes by 4 times, and also we increased the polyphenol content and the antioxidant capacity of those cakes for an increase of 400% of the antioxidant capacity of the cakes, using a byproduct that is, for example, the banana pulp, because 1/5 of the banana becomes in the wall. And this is what I was explaining you before. The problem with these carbohydrates, regardless if they are simple sugars or they are complex carbohydrates, if they are very glycemic, they will lead to certain diseases that we don't really want. So what we want to do is try to push the food down to the distal part of the small intestine, to the ileum, without being digested. So in this other study, we were making some of the most typical breads that we consume in Europe, which is the refined dough bread, the baguette, and the ciabatta. Ciabatta is very common in Italy, the baguette in France, in Spain, and the other one is especially in Spain, which is where I come from. And then what we were doing is we were trying to decrease the hydration level so that the starch doesn't have enough amount of water to lose the semi-crystalline structure. So then what we were observing is that in the ground, we did. So the starch preserved in the grass by decreasing the moisture content, preserved that semi-crystalline structure that is natural. And then we were able to increase the amount of slowly digestible starch. That is a positive thing in the final product. So this is just one example of the things that I was investigating. So thank you.
I'll give you a bit of context here. We've had some biological professors, we've had some biomedical professors. So I'm on the biomedical side. And then Dr. Neethirajan had talked about a few different streams within biomedical. Talked about biomechanics with knee braces, things like that Dr. Brandon was doing. Talked about biosignals with like an EKG with your heart. And the third one was bioinstrumentation. That's more where I am, where I'm building little microsystems and micro devices as biosensors, where you could test for glucose in the human body, that sort of thing. So that's the context. Where you're actually going to see me is, first of all, in electric circuits. So every one of you in this room who graduates from our school is going to take electric circuits when you're in second year. So you're going to see me there. And then for the biomedical students, I also teach a course in the 4th year, which is to do with biosignal processing. So processing the EKG for your heart, or EEG for your brain, or the EMG for your muscle, and the electronic signals that go along with that. Now, I'll talk a little bit about the research I do, but before I do that, I'm going to say why we're talking about all the research. There's a few aspects here. One is you want to be taught by people who are actually doing cutting-edge work in the field. So someone who's producing high-impact papers and putting together patents for technologies. You want that person teaching you and giving you that knowledge. The other thing that I'll say is, within this research, there's an opportunity for involvement. So you're starting in your first year at Guelph in the School of Engineering, and the school is really yours to be involved with. So I really encourage you, get involved in projects that you're interested in. If you see a professor who's doing something really interesting, go and talk to them about their research. I've had 6 undergraduate students in my lab. I've been here for about a year already. So get involved, whether it's a club, something like the IEEE club dealing with electronics, or a car building club, we have one of those as well. Get involved. Okay. So the research that I do, and again I'll say there's been undergraduate involvement, there's also been grad student involvement here. It's to do with this bioinstrumentation, and then within that I deal with biosensors, and then biomedical spectroscopy. And I'll flip to the next page as I talk about these two. So we've got a few figures here from previous papers that I've worked on. So I work with bioinstrumentation, biosensors, and every project that I do has something to do with light in some way. The light that we're all seeing in the room, that's my area within biomedical instrumentation. So in the top left-hand corner, we have an optical biosensor. That's a device called a retroflector. It takes light, comes in, and it perfectly sends it back parallel to the direction that it came in. You can use these systems for glucose monitoring, for a biosensor for monitoring for pathogens in drinking water, a few other applications. Another aspect is something called lab-on-a-chip systems. So you can picture a big chemistry lab as big as this room. It's often desirable to take those analyses and shrink them down to the micro scale. And that's what I do with microfluidics. So in the top right-hand corner, there's a top view of a microfluidic structure where electric fields are moving around a droplet, and then it's being probed with light. And that might be used to see if a certain biofluid has an indicator for a disease, for example. And then the bottom two figures there is to do with terahertz spectroscopy devices. Now I'm going to ask you a question, and I'll be very impressed if anyone has heard of this. Has anyone heard of terahertz before? Show of hands. In the back.
I think it's the scanner at the airport.
Yeah, the millimeter wavelength scanners, yeah. So that's one application, is the airport scanners. So terahertz can go through cloth. You can image if someone had a weapon or something like that. That's one application. Another is that it's very good for what's called spectroscopy. So you send it into a blood sample, you see what was absorbed, you can tell something about that blood sample, for example. And then the reason we use terahertz, why don't we just use the light in the room, which is very easily available. Why don't we just grab a light bulb? Why do we have to use the special terahertz? It's very sensitive to the properties and the characteristics of our blood, for example. It's also really hard to generate. I'm glossing over how to actually make the terahertz, but that's the research that I do. So I'd actually build these terahertz sensors, terahertz detectors, integrate them in lab-on-a-chip devices, and various other systems. Yeah, so that's who I am. Again, I'm Dr. Collier, biomedical, and then within that, bioinstrumentation, and get involved. And I'll pass it on to Dr. Neethirajan.
Hello again. I teach the course Bioinstrumentation Design in the 4th year level. As part of the course, each and every one of you, both biological and biomedical engineering students, will develop real prototypes, products and processes, and also demonstrate that to industries. It's an undergraduate course, 4th year level design course. You will be judged. It's like a science fair competition. Industries and personnel from outside the public sector would be invited to judge your prototype and products. So that's the main course I teach. I also teach a similar course at the grad level. In terms of research, I use nanotechnology as an element, as a tool, or as a technique to develop and bring in variety of solutions in the area of animal health, again it's biomedical, and food safety. So I would say I would consider myself as 50% biomedical and 50% biological engineering, and bioinstrumentation design is a core course for both biological and biomedical engineering students. Very quickly, a video.
Located at the University of Guelph in the Canadian province of Ontario, about an hour from Toronto, is the BioNanoLab. Researchers at the BioNanoLab help keep our food supply safe by improving the way farm animals are diagnosed and treated for health-threatening symptoms such as ketosis and avian flu. They develop new tools by combining biology, chemistry, and physics with tiny mechanical structures known as bio-nanotechnology. Unhealthy farms not only threaten the lives of livestock, but also the lives of humans. So, Dr. Suresh Neethirajan and his team of researchers study the complex behavior of molecular cell mechanisms in order to develop new tools that benefit the agricultural sector. Their research of nanoscale biological systems has led to the development of analytical and diagnostic handheld tools that can emulate a lab in the field. This means animals with health issues can be diagnosed on the spot without waiting hours or days for a test result. The sooner a diagnosis, the quicker a remedy. No lab time also means savings for the producer. So far, the BioNanoLab has developed a biosensor for detecting the cause of milk reduction in dairy cattle, early identification of avian influenza in poultry from cell structure behavior, chromosome imaging that marks genetic disorders, methods of screening pharmaceuticals for their effects on pathogenic bacteria, a microfluidic tissue model that emulates wounds and allows treatment in cases of drug resistance, and a biosensor that quickly detects allergens like peanuts and gluten. And many of these developments are currently being used in the field today. The BioNanoLab has also been researching ways to prevent harmful bacteria from infecting wounds and prevent rejection of implants by using an electric current. The BioNanoLab generating new discoveries and innovative products that improve the lives of all living things.
In addition to this, we also develop wearable sensors and other electrochemical related applications. This is just only 1 minute video.
Effect on people's lifespans in developed nations, but it's even more startling in developing nations, particularly among the very young. Newborns and infants often don't have reliable access to diagnostics and must wait for lab tests that could take days or longer. To change this, a tool for newborns and infants, a biosensor, is being developed by the University of Guelph's BioNanoLab of Canada. Dr. Suresh Neethirajan heads the research team.
By using biomarkers in body sweat, malnutrition, respiratory infections, heart disease, jaundice, and hepatitis can be identified at the point of care. A sensor that is worn by the infant measures the sweat components of sodium, pH levels, and the concentration of a biomarker, miRNA, using a graphene-coated patch, and the data is sent to a computer module that is relayed to a mobile phone via Bluetooth, resulting in an instant diagnosis.
The biosensor can be adjusted to be highly specific in reading sweat components or biomarkers by restructuring metal nanoparticles on the graphene patch, thus providing easy and quick identification of certain diseases. The disposable patch has a low cost that makes the device affordable for healthcare organizations and medical agencies. Mortality from disease among newborns and infants from poor nations is high due to a lack of healthcare facilities coupled with poor sanitation and insufficient nourishment, further complicated by newborns' undeveloped immune systems. The discrepancy of infant mortality between global regions becomes apparent when compared to a developed country like Canada. Not all of these deaths are a result of disease, but the ratio substantially increases in poor nations. Testing with the biosensor will be performed in rural areas of India in conjunction with Dr. Ravi Mukherjee of the Center for Health Research and Development in New Delhi. In areas where it may take days to travel for medical assistance, such a tool for roaming healthcare workers is indispensable for saving time by providing rapid screening to patients and ultimately saving young lives.
Thank you. Moving on, this is Professor Bob Dr. Dhoni is currently the president of the Professional Engineers of Ontario. So as soon as you graduate, you will get licensing, EIT, and you will become a PH. So this is a governing body that provides and facilitates the licensing protocols and processes. He is currently the president. He is on sabbatical this year, but he will be teaching courses when you go to 3rd and 4th year level. At the 2nd year level, he will be teaching 2400, which is a systems analysis course, and signals and image processing. His area of research has to do with signal processing. How do we enhance the hearing aids? Can we be able to make it discrete? Can we be able to play with the biosignals for coming up with new novel strategies and solutions for a variety of industrial applications? So that's the type of research he does.
Thanks. Okay, so I'll be 2 minutes. My name's Karen Gordon. If you were out yesterday, you met me yesterday. I'm the Associate Dean Academic for the college. As a result, I don't do a lot of teaching anymore. This is wrong. I don't teach biomaterials anymore. I'm actually teaching the 4th year design course now. So I won't see you till 4th year if that stays the same for the next few years. But feel free to come by and talk to me about my area of research at any point in your undergrad career. What I like to do is join biomechanics. I've specifically done a lot of research in osteoarthritis. And I do a lot of work with soft tissue mechanics. One example of some work that I've done has to do with knee meniscal replacements. So we've looked at the knee meniscus. We've done a lot of research trying to analyze the mechanical properties of that tissue. Anyone ever injured their knee meniscus in here? Yeah. So if you've injured it, you've maybe had it repaired, you've maybe had it taken out. You can also have it totally replaced with a synthetic. You can have it totally replaced with an allograft transplant as well. And we've done some work with various surgeons looking at all of those treatment options. Top picture there is a knee joint simulator that one of my grad students designed. That means we take a cadaveric knee joint, we stick it in a simulator, we push and pull on it to try to replicate walking. That whole thing can go in an MR or a CT machine, and we can actually see what the tissues and the bones are doing while they're walking. So that's the advantage. We can test out surgeries with an instrument like that, see how, so one example of work we did with that is a surgeon would come on the cadaveric knee joint, do the meniscal surgery on it, and then we can image it again, see how the surgery compared to the initial knee joint. It's like our first trial run for various surgery type things. Do you want me to keep going? Yes. Okay, so that's a quick 30-second rundown of what I do. I'll just keep going and talk quickly about Michelle. So Michelle Oliver is another faculty member in sort of the biomechanics area, so I'm in kind of the biomechanics stream, okay? She teaches 2nd year engineering mechanics, so you will see her next year. She also teaches engineering biomechanics, which is a 3rd year elective if you choose to sort of study in the biomechanics stream. I work with her quite a bit on some of her research. She does some research in occupational biomechanics, looking at whole body vibration. She runs the driving simulator, which you may or may not have heard of. It's over there, where she looks at the biomechanics of driving and fatigue with driving. And she also does work, and this is where we do work together, with repetitive strain injuries. And we're doing a lot of work together on wrist braces right now, carpal tunnel syndrome specifically, and how can a wrist brace help out with that, especially in the occupational setting. That's a look at her drive lab. So she has a car in there, people get instrumented up, they track the motion. She has eye tracking equipment as well, so that you can see where the person who's in the driving simulator is looking. And they do a lot of research around fatigue while driving. Okay, and Jude.
So good morning everyone. As like you can see, my name is Manju Mishra, and I will be teaching you Biosystem 1, which is the very basic course for you for introduction to biosystem, and that will teach you through you can identify and analyze some of the mass and energy balances in various biological systems, as well as you will develop some of the mathematical model to understand various processes, very simple like wine making, beer making. You can go through the details of the processes in the course, as well as some various mixing technology and the reactors that make those biomaterials. So in terms of my research, I do work on the principles of circular economy. How many of you knew circular economy? There is a new economy which is in place now. Right now, we are in the technological economy where we are in the linear economy, meaning we just buy or purchase one cell phone, use it for 1 year, then throw it out. The next year, go back and purchase the second one, or we might have 2 or 3 in our backpack or pocket, which we can like use it and throw it. But the same principle applies to all of your materials you use now in the daily lives, starting from the television to your the computer, anything you want. Just the industry makes them, you purchase them, then we throw it. But now this will not work anymore because our resources are getting shortage in the whole world. So in my research, which is based on the circular economy, is the recycle, reuse, regenerate and remanufacture, so that there will be zero waste in the end of the life. So these are principles that are based on the regenerative on design. So from the very beginning, we have to make the materials in such a manner that in the end it will create zero waste and zero pollution, and which can be utilized again and again. So based on this, like I would go for 1 or 2 slides because we are getting out of time. Maybe okay. So this is the only one slide I have, where we have used the waste from lignin from paper industry, and in that you can see the nanocarbon has been generated, and the nanocarbon will be there to replace any kind of carbon that are in the marketplace, like single wall carbon nanotube, multi-wall carbon nanotubes. So the basic principle is you utilize the waste, make the product, and again use the material again and again, or you make some materials that can go to the compost after your use. So like single-use food packagings, all that can go for the compostable, which can be converted to carbon dioxide and water and go back to the natural cycle. So the end is we have to like preserve the energy, preserve the material for the next generation. Thank you very much.
So very quickly, Professor John Runciman is away. He sent his regrets today. He will be teaching courses related to engineering and design too, although he has a reduced teaching load because he is currently the associate director for undergraduate studies. So if you get into any trouble, you will either see Dr. John Runciman or Dr. Karen Gordon. So in terms of research, he does surgical and assistive device design, bone and joint mechanics, cardiovascular biomechanics, and sports biomechanics. He's also the advisor for the automobile racing. He basically built a car and test the different mechanical aspects of it. If you are interested in it, you will be able to connect with him in that.
Okay, so we'll be super quick. I'm the technician for the biological engineering program, so if you have any laboratory components to your courses, then you'll be interacting with me. I'm 1104 over in that end of the building mostly, and I help out with some of the research labs. So for the 41X project, like your final 4th year culminating project, you'll probably be working with me pretty closely. Yeah, that's basically it.
Hello everyone, my name is Ahmed and I am the lab coordinator for biomedical engineering. My job is basically being a point of resource for faculty, students, and staff when it comes to lab experiments. So this semester I'm actually helping 3 professors, Scott Brandon in biomedical engineering design, Professor Suresh in his bioinstrumentation course, and Michelle Oliver in her biomechanics course. About my background, I did my bachelor's in Waterloo, mechanical engineering. Where's a mechanical engineering student? Go mechanical, right? And then I jumped to UofT for my master's in biomedical engineering because I found a passion for designing and building stuff, but I love to help people. So I found biomedical engineering was the best of both worlds. So now I'm here because I find a lot of potential in the program, and I look forward to meeting all you soon. Thank you.
Very quickly, just 1 minute. Our students have plenty of opportunities. For example, this is a student who beat 9 Canadian universities and won $10,000 cash. He's an undergraduate student. The project he presented was based on a summer project. He worked for 8 months as a co-op research intern and presented the project results in the Sunnybrook Hospital. So there are plenty of opportunities. Please talk to professors, talk to your engineering counselors, and connect with them and grow together. It's a safe environment. There will be definitely lots of deadlines after deadlines because of assignments of various courses, but that will eventually help you to become more stronger as you make progress towards the end of the 4 or 5 year to get your diploma. Some of the examples of the past accomplishments of our students. Alexis Wagner is here. Alexis is currently a scholar at Oxford University. She is also Canada's head brewer in one of the top-notch beer processing industry with new technologies and new ways of doing things. So in the interest of time, let's wrap it up, and the faculty members will be waiting outside. So if you need to chat or connect with the faculty, please assemble outside, and we'll have a few minutes to chat or address any questions or clarifications you may have. Thank you very much.